Thanks for joining us on the Blue Couch Conversation. Today I have JC of Allsound Music. Please have a seat. How are you?
Doing good.
Okay, get comfy.
I'm comfy.
You just gotta melt into it.
Okay.
So,
Alright.
Allsound Music. You're a DJ, MC, master of all things. How did it all begin?
You know, I was about 13 years old. I went over to my buddy's house and he had a set of turntables. I touched the turntables and I'm not kidding. Literally had this jolt go through my arms. And right then, right there, I was hooked.
You realized
And
you were
it was
electrocuted?
It was done.
Oh, like the inspiration jolt.
Yeah, the inspiration jolt. Thank you for yeah.
Okay.
No, it just was. I was done. I was done. I knew that some way, somehow, I had to eventually get the money, buy the equipment, etc., etc. But that's how it all started. Is just touching my first turntable. I knew I was done. I've always been a music geek. Even if I wasn't a DJ, I would definitely be as big of a music geek, but my love for music on top of that, it was a given.
Good. And I mean, that was only about 10 years ago. So when you bought all this equipment, and there's a lot of DJs out there that don't make it. So what sets you apart and what has gained you this great success?
You know what, honestly, everything that we've done of any success, or you know, even the small failures and whatnot, it's all due to our faith. Our faith in God. He's always had us separated in the business. It's how we do things. We're family owned and operated. So with that being said, it's our clientele that helps us to keep separated. So if that makes sense. Yeah, absolutely.
I like it. So in these experiences, I mean, you've seen clients from birthdays, weddings. I mean,
you name it.
Literally, I think I've seen you on everything.
Right.
So what is the best piece of advice that you give to these clients? I mean, just across the board, you're easy peasy. This is what your go-to advice is that sticks with people for picking a DJ or MC or... You know,
and I can only speak for us,
right.
But with us, it's a different experience, and what's important for me to convey to them before we even meet is they have to be very open-minded. And it's more of an educational process when they sit with us because of my experience.
Right.
But we're so driven to be able to give them that ultimate experience, and there's one way they get that ultimate experience is if they just let it go and allow us to orchestrate this for them. And it's just a simple communication after that. But if anything, they gotta let it go and enjoy themselves.
There's a song about that.
Right.
So in all of these different experiences that you've had, I know we've worked with you just a handful of times.
Oh, just a couple times.
Just a few.
Right.
But what has your fairy godmother experience been like?
Oh my goodness. Our very first wedding was at the Padre. We did the first wedding together that they actually did in the Belvedere. The bride got married in the Belvedere. They hadn't done that before. So with that being said, it was really two companies that were kind of trying to find their place in the wedding industry, so to speak, at that point. But from the beginning, there was a bit of a connection with us and Colleen. Denise and I are a kindred spirit, so it's, you know, that right there. I've worked with,
only imagine.
Yeah, exactly. I've worked with all your fairies, but the telling tale across the board is that you've always, as a company, you've always remained flexible. And the beautiful thing about the Fairy Godmother team is they've always allowed us to be us. And you know, we're the unique animal in the business, but you've always allowed us to be us. And together, I think that's what makes us so successful together. It's just it's the unspoken cohesiveness.
I like it. We'll just sprinkle some fairy dust on it.
Right. I'll take that fairy dust every day of the week.
Hey, I'm here for it. So as business grows, and I mean, you've, like I said, been in business for a handful of years, 33 years.
Seems
like a stretch, but we'll go for it. In all these years, how are you moving forward? How are you setting yourself apart and adapting to new changes and things that are going on in the world?
You know, this business is ever changing, from the speakers to the simple wires. I had a revelation when we bought my microphone laster that I use. I'll show it next time we work with you. And everything across the board from the music. I mean, when I first started, I was still using tapes, the Google tapes and records and everything else. Yes, and even turntables. From the computer to CDs and everything else in between. Now, a lot of DJs around the world aren't even using computers anymore. And it's just, you have to be very open-minded, and you have to stay on top of the product.
Right.
But what you have to do also, in our opinion, this is what we do, is we try to buy for the next 5 years or so when we're purchasing equipment and whatnot.
Well, that's a smart thing, it sounds like, to do.
Right.
Because your guys' equipment is probably some of the most expensive equipment in the business.
We're blessed to be able to do that. It's also on top of that, it's with the lighting and whatnot.
Right.
Because the cinematography and the videos and any pictures and whatnot, they're king on the wedding days or anything that's milestone. And we always have to make sure that we stay on top of the technology so that we don't take away from that and that simple ambiance.
Right. So in addition to Allsound Music, there's other services that are offered that are kind of helping your future.
Right.
So you have the uplighting,
right.
You do dance floors. What am I forgetting here?
Well, with the uplighting, that's a whole ball of wax right there in itself. We've been blessed now where I started buying 4 uplights. And I said, I'm not spending this much money on uplights. I told Anthony, and I got the 4 uplights in there, and I seen what they did to just a simple area of the room. And that went from that to, I want to fill this room up, and then I want to fill this room up. And now we're able to do multiple events on the same day as far as our lighting and monograms and dance floors. But we're kind of I don't know if you want to say a one-trick pony, but we stay in our lane in regards to the wedding industry being our main focus.
Right.
Good. More than half of our events are from wedding. And we just have the most wonderful clients because they've allowed us to almost turn into a residual thing by, like what you said before, word of mouth. Mm-hmm. And that's been from the 80s all the way up to current day.
That's the best referral you can get right there.
Right.
Well, thank you so much, JC, for stopping by and snuggling on the couch with us.
Right. I don't know if I want to get up.
I know, it's so comfy. And as always, thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Blue Couch Conversation. Be sure to check in next week and subscribe to our YouTube channel. See you then.
Darling, I love you. You say goodbye. Away you fly. But on your lips you keep a kiss. All your life you'll dream of this love.